Which Jungian archetype are you? Today we're going to discover this together. Carl Jung spent years researching and found 12 universal archetypes. And you, yes, you, were born with the energy of one of these 12 archetypes. This archetype is your deepest source of power. Your patterns, your attractions, your fears, they all stem from this archetype. But most people don't know this. They live unaware of the structure of their own soul. Today, that changes. I'm going to ask you 6 questions. Answer each one instinctively. Don't think, don't analyze. Choose the first thing that comes to mind, A, B, or C, because your first instinct is the voice of your subconscious, and that's where the archetype lives. Are you ready? Then let's begin. If this video adds value to you, please don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss deeper content on Jung's archetypes. If you want to support the channel even more, you can click the join button. Now we're starting the test. But first, you need to understand something crucial. What is an archetype? Most people think archetypes are just personality tests. But for Jung, the archetype is a much deeper concept. Archetypes are universal energy patterns that exist in the collective unconscious. This means they existed before you were born. They're shared images that have lived within all of humanity for thousands of years. The hero, the sage, the lover, the rebel, these aren't just types. They are universal forces, and you were born with the energy of one of them. So why is knowing your archetype important? Because the archetype reveals your life purpose, your source of power, and also your shadow side. When you know your own archetype, you understand why you do certain things and avoid others. You see why you're drawn to some people and repelled by others. And most importantly, you recognize your shadow. Because every archetype has a light side and a shadow side. If you use your light, you unleash your power. If you stay in your shadow, you burn out. Now, are you ready for the test? Listen carefully to each question, but don't think about the answer. Follow your first instinct, because the conscious mind lies. The subconscious doesn't. Get a pen and paper. Write down each answer, A, B, or C. At the end, the letter you choose most often will reveal your archetype. Let's begin. Question 1. When you face a major crisis, what is your first reaction? Option A. You immediately take action. You confront the problem, create solutions, and fight. Crisis makes you stronger. Option B. You pause and think first. You analyze the problem, think deeply, develop a strategy, and move with knowledge. Option C. You turn to those around you. You ask for support, talk, and share. Relationships bring you comfort. Now choose A, B, or C. What does your first instinct say? If you've chosen, let's continue. Question 2. In life, which role do you most often find yourself in? Option A. You're a leader. You guide people, protect them, and create change. You don't hesitate to take responsibility. You have to be strong. Option B. You're a teacher. You share knowledge, guide others, and enlighten them. You seek truth. You show people the way. Option C. You're a connector. You bring people together. You create harmony, support others, and carry love. You want everyone to feel good. Now choose A, B, or C. Which one is closer to you? If you've chosen, let's move to question 3. Question 3. What is your deepest fear? Knowing this is crucial, because your archetype reveals itself most clearly through fear. Option A. You fear being weak. Loss of control, inadequacy, helplessness. These things scare you. Being powerless is your nightmare. Option B. You fear meaninglessness. Loneliness, ignorance, emptiness. These things disturb you. Life must have meaning. Option C. You fear rejection. Abandonment, not belonging, being unloved. These are your deepest wounds. Now choose. Which one resonates more within you? A, B, or C? If you've chosen, let's move to question 4. Question 4. What motivates you most? Option A. Success motivates you. Winning, reaching goals, being powerful. These things move you to action. You love challenge. Option B. Discovery motivates you. Learning new things, understanding, gaining wisdom. These things excite you. Curiosity is your fuel. Option C. Connection motivates you. Loving, being loved, building relationships. These things nourish you. People are your energy. Now choose A, B, or C. Which one fires you up more? If you've chosen, let's get to question 5. Question 5. In a story, which character would you want to play? This question directly reveals the archetype within you, because stories are filled with archetypes. Option A. You play the hero, the one who slays the dragon, saves the people, and fights. The one who faces danger and emerges victorious. Option B. You play the sage, the one who lives at the top of the mountain, knows the secrets, teaches, guides the hero, and gives knowledge. Option C. You play the lover, the one who forms deep connections, transforms through love, seeks intimacy, acts with heart, and lives with passion. Now choose. Which character is closer to your soul? A, B, or C? If you've chosen, we've reached the final question. Question 6, the last one. What would your ideal world be like? This question reveals your archetype's vision. Option A. In order and justice, everyone is safe. The strong protect the weak. Rules are clear. Structure is solid. Everyone knows their role. Option B. In knowledge and freedom, everyone is enlightened. People learn, discover, and evolve. There are no limits. Curiosity is infinite. Option C. In love and harmony, everyone is connected to each other. Relationships are deep. Hearts are open. No one is alone. Everyone belongs. Now make your final choice. A, B, or C. Which one is your dream world? If you've chosen, now let's look at the results. Now look at your paper. Which letter did you choose most? A, B, or C? If the majority is A, you're one of the action archetypes. If the majority is B, you're one of the knowledge archetypes. If the majority is C, you're one of the connection archetypes. Now let's explain the detailed results. If you chose a most often, you are one of the action and power archetypes. Among Jung's 12 archetypes, there are 4 action archetypes: the hero, the ruler, the magician, and the rebel. These archetypes exist to change the world. You're not passive. You take action. You face difficulties. You push boundaries. Power is your source. But be careful. The shadow of action archetypes is this. If you use your power wrongly, you become a tyrant. If you constantly fight, you burn out. If you always control, you end up alone. Learn to use your power with wisdom. If you are the hero archetype, your mission is to face challenges and triumph. You step in front of fear, you protect others. But your shadow is not feeling good enough. You constantly feel like you have to prove something, and this exhausts you. The real insight is seeing that your true power lies in accepting your vulnerability. If you are the ruler archetype, your mission is to create order and structure. You're a born leader. You take responsibility, you control. But your shadow is turning into tyranny. You want to manage everything and can't trust anyone. Learn to share power. If you are the magician archetype, your mission is to transform. You are a visionary. You make the impossible possible. You see the world differently. But your shadow is manipulation. You can use your power to control others. See that transformation comes without force. If you're the rebel archetype, your mission is to break boundaries. You're a freedom fighter. You don't obey rules. You challenge the system. But your shadow is destructiveness. You only tear down, you don't build. The key is being able to establish a new order after the revolution. The rebel who only destroys eventually destroys himself. Your power comes from knowing what you're building, not just what you're tearing down. Revolutionary energy without vision becomes chaos. Learn to channel your rebellious spirit into creation, not just destruction. If you chose B most often, you're one of the knowledge and exploration archetypes. Among Jung's 12 archetypes, there are 4 knowledge archetypes: the sage, the innocent, the explorer, and the creator. These archetypes exist to seek truth. You're curious. You love learning. You go into the depths. You discover secrets. Knowledge is your power. But be careful. The shadow of knowledge archetypes is this. If you only think, you can't live. If you constantly search, you never find. If you try to understand everything, you forget to feel. The key is learning to apply knowledge to life. If you are the sage archetype, your mission is to share wisdom. You are a teacher. You think deeply. You seek truth. But your shadow is intellectual pride. You think you know everything and you don't listen to anyone. The real insight is seeing that true wisdom lies in admitting what you don't know. The sage who claims to have all the answers has stopped learning. Your greatest strength is your humility, your willingness to remain a student of life forever. Knowledge without humility becomes arrogance, and arrogance closes the door to further wisdom. If you are the innocent archetype, your mission is to preserve purity. You are optimistic. You look at the world with hope. You believe in goodness. But your shadow is denial. You ignore evil and end up disappointed. The key is learning to see reality while protecting your innocence. Innocence is not ignorance. True innocence is choosing to believe in goodness even after witnessing darkness. Your challenge is to maintain your faith without becoming naive, to stay hopeful without being blind to harsh truths. If you are the explorer archetype, your mission is to seek freedom. You are an adventurer. You discover the unknown. You cross boundaries. But your shadow is not being able to belong anywhere. You constantly run away and can't form any bonds. The lesson is seeing that you can also connect within freedom. Freedom without connection becomes loneliness. You fear that commitment means losing yourself, but true freedom includes the freedom to stay. The deepest exploration is sometimes staying still long enough to discover what's right in front of you. If you are the creator archetype, your mission is to create new things. You are an artist. Your imagination is powerful. You are original. But your shadow is perfectionism. You never find anything good enough and you never finish anything. The insight is seeing that creation is a process. The creator who waits for perfection never creates. Your power lies in embracing imperfection, in understanding that done is better than perfect. Every masterpiece started as a messy first draft. Your shadow whispers that your work isn't ready, but your light knows that creation itself is the goal, not perfection. If you chose see most often, you are one of the connection and relationship archetypes. Among Jung's 12 archetypes, there are 4 connection archetypes: the lover, the caregiver, the jester, and the everyman. These archetypes exist to create connection. You're all about relationships. You love people, you seek closeness. Your heart is your power. But be careful. The shadow of connection archetypes is this: if you try to make everyone happy, you lose yourself. If you constantly seek approval, you become dependent. If you fear rejection and always give, you burn out. The key is learning to love yourself while loving others. If you're the lover archetype, your mission is to form deep bonds. You live passionately. Love is your energy. You seek intimacy, but your shadow is losing yourself. You dissolve in the relationship and forget who you are. The insight is being able to preserve your own identity even in love. Love should not erase you. It should reveal you. Your challenge is learning that true intimacy comes from 2 whole people choosing each other, not 2 halves trying to become one. The lover who loses themselves in another eventually has nothing left to give. If you're the caregiver archetype, your mission is to take care of others. You are compassionate. You support people, you nourish them. But your shadow is sacrificing yourself. You give to everyone, but not to yourself. The insight is seeing that you need to take care of yourself before you can take care of others. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Self-care is not selfish, it's essential. The caregiver who gives endlessly without receiving eventually has nothing left. Your power multiplies when you include yourself in your circle of compassion. If you are the jester archetype, your mission is to bring joy. You are fun. You live life like a game. You make people laugh. But your shadow is not being taken seriously. You turn everything into a joke, and no one sees your depth. The key is learning to show your deep side while keeping your joy. Humor can be a shield that protects you, but it can also be a wall that keeps others out. The jester who only performs never reveals their true heart. Your greatest gift is learning when to take off the mask and let people see the soul beneath the smile. If you're the everyman archetype, your mission is to belong. You're a community person. You love forming bonds. You want to be like everyone else. But your shadow is disappearing. You adapt too much and lose your authenticity. The insight is seeing that you can be different while still belonging. Belonging doesn't require erasing yourself. The everyman who becomes invisible to fit in loses the very thing that makes them valuable. Your power is in being genuinely you while remaining connected to others. True belonging happens when you show up as yourself, not as who you think others want you to be. Now you know your archetype. But remember, this is just the beginning. Jung said that archetypes exist in layers. You're not just one archetype. You're a combination of archetypes. Maybe you're a hero and a sage. Maybe a lover and a rebel. But every person has one dominant archetype. And today we found it. So what will you do now? Jung's individuation process is exactly this. Recognizing your own archetype, confronting your shadow, and integrating it. Use the light side of your archetype. Don't run from your shadow side. Integrate it. Because the shadow is also a power. When you suppress it, it controls you. When you accept it, it becomes your strength. Now you can start keeping a shadow work journal. Ask yourself every day, which side of my archetype did I live today? My light side or my shadow side? In what situation did my shadow emerge? How can I integrate it? These questions transform you. And one more thing, learn to recognize archetypes in others too. Which archetype is your partner? Your boss? Your friends? Because when you know the archetypes, you understand relationships. What happens when a hero meets the caregiver? How do the sage and the jester interact? When you understand these dynamics, you begin to understand people. The hero needs the caregiver's compassion to stay human. The sage needs the jester's lightness to stay grounded. Understanding archetypes is like learning a new language, the language of the soul. You begin to see patterns everywhere. In movies, in myths, in the people you meet on the street. You realize that the same stories have been playing out for thousands of years, just with different actors. The hero's journey that Joseph Campbell described is really the hero archetype living out its destiny. The wise mentor in every story is the sage. The trickster who disrupts everything is the jester or the rebel. We are all living out these ancient patterns, and becoming conscious of them is the first step toward freedom. Your archetype is not your prison. It's your power waiting to be claimed. When you understand your pattern, you can choose how to express it. The hero can choose courage over recklessness. The sage can choose wisdom over arrogance. The lover can choose intimacy over codependency. This is what Jung meant by individuation. Becoming who you truly are by integrating all parts of yourself, especially the parts you've been running from. Your shadow holds the key to your wholeness. The qualities you most despise in others are often the qualities you've rejected in yourself. The hero who calls others weak fears his own weakness. The sage who calls others ignorant fears her own ignorance. Integration is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole. It's about accepting that you contain multitudes, that you are both light and shadow, both strength and weakness. Jung said that we don't become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Your power increases exponentially when you stop fighting half of yourself and instead learn to dance with all of who you are. This is the real work. This is what separates those who merely exist from those who truly live. If this video was valuable to you, please don't forget to hit that like button. Write in the comments which archetype you got. If you want us to explore other archetypes in more depth, let me know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for deeper content on Jung's archetypes. If you want to support this journey even more, you can click the join button. And don't forget to comment your city. I love knowing where in the world you're watching from. Remember, you are an archetype, but the archetype doesn't define you. You're bigger than the archetype. The archetype is just an energy. You decide how to use that energy. Will you stay in the light or in the shadow? Or will you integrate both and become whole? The choice is yours. See you in the next video. Stay in your light and in your shadow.